What is up, winning team? So I'm going to cut this clip in a second. I just thought I'd use the cloud clip to introduce this video, because in this video I'm going to be showing you the places that, the Patriarchy, my two different tour guides, showed me, which were absolutely beautifully, gorgeously stunning. And also, I forgot I had more footage even in Gdansk as well. So I'm going to include all of that here. I did lie in the last video. My actual footage of leaving the country. I'm going to do that as a whole separate video because that was an adventure in itself, unexpectedly. So yeah, anyways, guys, I hope you enjoy this. There's so much cool stuff to come. So yeah, and let's get straight into. So to recap, this was the church that he took me to. This is about the second half of the day already. And he kept saying, we got to go to this church, which is kind of ironic because he's not a believer, right? And he told me himself, he's like, yeah, I'm a Catholic because 90% of Poland is Catholic, but I'm not Catholic, like I'm not practicing. And I was like, you know what? I respect you for being that level of self-aware, because a lot of people think, oh, I was christened at birth, so I was baptized as a baby, so I'm a Christian. It's like, it doesn't work that way. You have to make a conscious decision. Anyway, so we took a stroll here. This is already like the second half of the day, because at first we drove an hour and a half through the whole country. It was beautiful. Like, I love how they're kind of like Italy. The houses are all different like colors and different shapes, and there's all these different trees and nature, and it's just gorgeous. And oh yes, so here's where us at the lake, we're at this lake area, and they've got all this what do you call it? They've got all this. So yeah, oh yeah, we had ice cream. We had that exact ice cream that was just there on the left. So we started with the ice creams. Then we came to sit literally exactly right here, which for me was stunning. Like, I've never grown up around things like this. So for me, this is breathtaking. And the fact that there's this lake right here, and then all behind there is the forest, which we are going to go walking through, just was incredible. So yeah, we sat here, we were having ice cream, and we're just talking about different things. And it was really peaceful. And we also, again, just sat peacefully. I love being around peaceful people. But yeah, so after we got to this side of the area, before we came to this place, before we went to the church, we went to to his mum's house. And I had soup made by a Polish mum. That was the most iconic part of this whole trip because it was so good. And again, such a great opportunity to learn about culture through food. This is why I love food and I love cooking, because when you like study what people eat, the ingredients, how they make things. Like, I just made a chicken soup. She made me a chicken soup. So I was curious as to how her chicken soup was different to my chicken soup. This is all around the lake area, and we were just like walking and talking about stuff, and it was just really nice and peaceful. But yeah, so that was what we had done in the first half. And then after going to his mum's and being there for a while and eating lovely food cooked by her, then we came here, and then we stopped here, and he bought me this Polish beer, which was really good. It was really, really good. Obviously, he was drinking 0% beer the whole time because he's driving. He's the designated driver, so that was great. But yeah, it was lovely. It was a nice stop off. And of course, I had been told that the Polish beer is better than the German beer. And I was like, all right, then we're going to have to see. Okay, so here we are. Yeah, so here's where we're getting to the really nice area. It was so beautiful out here, can I just say? And bearing in mind, taking into all this into account, that I'm just showing you a very, very small crumb, because I just took little clips here and there. But like, this was a long area, and we did actually do 16,000 steps. I checked afterwards because I was curious. How in the hell? It didn't feel like it. Didn't feel like we were out there for that long at all. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous and stunning. And actually, so we've got lots of beautiful footage to come. So what I thought I would do is I'm going to play this Polish song for you guys in the background that kept playing on the radio in his car. And I just was like, I try my best, when I go to places, to embrace the culture. And one of the greatest ways, I feel, is learning songs in another language. So I'm going to play a little bit of the song for you while you just see this whole air. But this is literally my vibe. This is me. This is what I'm thinking. How have I ended up in another country? I had no plans, and I found myself again right where I belong, amongst the trees, in the nature. So yeah, I was loving life. This was literally the best thing ever.
Historie, w których ogień zgasł, ciemno, burza, strach. Szepnę ci do ucha słów kilka, póki czas. Tam, gdzie będziesz, będę ja. Jesień krótko trwa. Ty wołasz o nadzieję, wiatr, co cię poniesie w stronę słońca. Chodź, ze mną było to, co było, a co czeka jeszcze, tego nie wie nikt. Na pewno chodź, dziewczyno, zaraz przeminą wszystkie gorsze dni. Słuchaj, oj, dziewczyno, i tak ci policzą wszystkie twoje sny. Obudziły mnie ze snu melodie dawnych lat. Ciemność w oczach znika już, w sercu wrócił blask. Nie bój się, ja jestem tu, gdy noc za długo trwa. W dłoniach skrywasz cały świat, minie gęsta mgła. Ty wołasz o nadzieję, wiatr, co cię poniesie w stronę słońca. Chodź, ze mną było to, co było, a co czeka jeszcze, tego nie wie nikt. Na pewno chodź, dziewczyno, zaraz przeminą wszystkie gorsze dni. Słuchaj, oj, dziewczyno, i tak ci policzą wszystkie twoje sny. Chodź, dziewczyno, zaraz przeminą wszystkie gorsze dni. Słuchaj, oj, dziewczyno, i tak ci policzą wszystkie twoje sny. Obudziły mnie ze snu melodie dawnych lat. Ciemność w oczach znika już, w sercu wrócił blask.
Truly, I cannot make this stuff up. But anyway, here's the cute dog that lives there and the little basket. I think they got him for his birthday or something. So precious. And then me taking a cheeky little selfie in the car. Now we've driven off. And where are we going? Oh yeah, we're back into his lovely small town, which honestly, because there's only 10,000 people that live there, I'm not going to say the name of the place. You know what I mean? This is social media after all. So, yeah, what did we decide to do even here? Oh, yeah, I think we went around. So I would just sort of take this time to show you. So this is around his town. It's very quaint. It's very small, you know, and so, yeah, it was just really nice. It was very, very nice. I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. Oh, now we were making the big journey all the way back, which again was going to be an hour and a half. And I was thinking, you have been driving a lot. You know what I'm saying? But he was loving it. He was loving it. He was loving it. He says, no, I like to drive anyway. I was like, all right, dude, if that's up to you, you know. So, yeah, this was the area. So nice and sweet, very wholesome, very like, you know. And look, it's just different. I don't know if you guys can see what I mean, but it's just a bit different, you know. It just feels a bit more warm and like, I don't know how to explain it to you guys, but like, every time I go to like some of these other European countries, well, at least I can speak for Italy and Poland for sure. You just feel more like you're dealing with humans. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. But yeah, so this car that we're in, I can't remember which exact car it was. But one of the reasons he'd come was to actually sell this car. So by this point, he'd actually sold the car. So he was just gonna give it to the people on his way out because he doesn't need it anymore. And he also has another car in London, so he was just like, he doesn't need it anyway. Long's not important right now, but yeah, so this is us just driving out, and look how nice it is. This is like the stuff I was saying about just how beautiful it was. And let me know what you thought of that song, because it just kept playing on the radio. And I was like, honestly, it's a vibe. It's such a vibe. But yeah, I will say, like, speaking the Polish language and trying to learn words and things, oh my gosh. But it's one of those things I actually want to attempt to do more now, because I feel like it'll expand my repertoire. Oh yeah, this is us driving down the roads. And funny story, as soon as we left that restaurant, right? By the way, I wish I could have shown you inside the restaurant. But obviously, guys, all the photos I've just shown you, by the way, most of them are from their Instagram, right? Obviously, I'm not taking photos. I'm like, but every now and then I'll take a snapshot of something. But yeah, this is us driving. What was I about to say just now? How am I getting distracted in the middle of the voice note? I remember. Basically, it started raining immediately, and this was kind of insane, like because of just how everything worked out. Because initially, this was on a Friday, right? Initially we were going to meet on Wednesday, but then on Wednesday he wasn't feeling too good and he was like, hey, can we just like push the date? And I was like, yeah, of course we can. Like, it's not a big deal. And I also wasn't really feeling up to it either, and it ended up just raining. And I think I was recording as well that day. I recorded every day for you guys, but yeah, so we decided to skip on Wednesday. It rained like all of Wednesday, all of Thursday, and Friday, like this day when we came out, when we were all here at the lake and going up to the whatever we're doing, it was a beautiful day, literally, until we set off and got into the car. Within a half an hour, it started to rain and it was pouring the whole way there for an hour and a half. And we were just like, this could not have gone better. Like, literally, the situation could not have gone better. At this point as well, first of all, this is absolutely gorgeous, and these trees are so tall. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. But I was so overwhelmed at this stage. I was like, what the hell just happened for the past 10 hours? Because bearing in mind, he came to, yeah, look, the clock even says 7 there, you can see. He came to collect me at 9:30 a.m. And then, so this man also, mind you, has driven an hour and a half to come and get me, then an hour and a half back to his area, then another half hour up to the mountains after we'd already been to the church and the lake. And then he's now driving me an hour and a half back to Gdansk, and then he's driving an hour and a half back. I was like, you, sir, are something else, yeah? This is when I started to actually sit there and think, yeah, you know what? I was speechless. Like, I was really quiet. I was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I just don't know what to say right now. It's not often that I become speechless, but yeah, it was such a beautiful drive. Look how lovely it is. Just driving through Poland. And again, it's like all these little things. I talked about this in the previous vlog when I was exploring Gdansk on my own. That look, it's just such a nice place, and the people are nice, and everything was really nice. I mean, obviously he played a big role in all of it, but it's just kind of insane. But yeah, so we're driving through all these towns on the way back. Oh, I think we're about to go and get some petrol now. Because that was the other thing I was thinking, does this car not need fuel? And then funny enough, exactly as I had that thought is exactly when he pulled in to fill up his thing. But but on a serious note, God's honest truth, I genuinely feel so blessed about these types of situations, because I'm not out here trying to be out here for nobody, as you all know. I've come to see my female friend. I'm not out doing nothing. I'm just minding my business. And I meet a very lovely Polish man who then ends up teaching me so much about the country, and showing me all these things that I would never have found probably as a tourist, like, the lovely lake or this restaurant that was at the top of freaking up the mountains. And obviously, he knows about his country, so he was telling me it's the largest country in Europe. Population is 40 million. We're talking about the history. And it just feels so much fun, like being a daughter of the Lord. This is what I'm saying, because these be the side quests I'm actually on, Now that I've started to actually share with you all, like, about some of this stuff, it's made me realize that this is why I'm tired. Because I'm actually out on side quests. But on this very serious note, I don't feel like they are side quests. I feel like, these are all things that teach me lessons that shape the way I'm seeing everything. Like I was saying in the previous video, just about, the treatment of like Polish people in the United Kingdom and all that kind of thing. It's really sad, but as we can see, me being here and seeing the people for myself, and being in Poland for myself, and like exploring it for myself. And the story is not even yet over, you guys, because we're about to, not in the next part, because in the next part I'm heading back to Gdansk and I'm going to show you around a few more bits around there. Then I'm going to be in another part of Gdansk afterwards, and I'm going to meet another gentleman who's going to take me somewhere else that is also stunning. So yeah, stay tuned for that, you guys. So this is, I think, the next day. And I'm out in this area again, and I, at this moment when I was recording, because sometimes I record the things I'm doing, sometimes I don't, and then sometimes I'm just recording because, you know, I'm wanting to speak with you guys, so it's a bit strange. I've just realized I just do my own thing, you know. I'm not following whatever rule book it is for social media, but anywho, this day I was feeling this whole Jezebel thing was kind of getting to me a little bit, because I was kind of feeling at this point like, hence why I was walking, but look how beautiful it is. This is just the area. This is just like the area. Anyway, it's so lovely around here. Yeah, the Jezebel stuff was kind of getting to me for the simple fact that it's just been a lot to take in, based on everything I've been telling you, because it's like, now I know, like, since coming here, so I'm saying it's insane that I come there, and for whatever reason, multiple actually, and I can think of the reasons why. I'm not going to get into all of them. I'm now encountering her, you know what I mean? Because it was just when I landed from Italy that it hit me what the thing was that was coming up against, like, what the name of this demon was. I was trying to figure out. What's the name of this demon. And just when I landed from Italy, I was like, oh, it's Jezebel. How did I not figure this out? And so by the time I came here, I was already starting to think about it. Little did I know we'd have an encounter. You know what I mean? And it's funny how this whole situation with these guys was also helping me to pick apart this whole Jezebel's thing. So in the aftermath of what had happened the day before, and in also now, like, being very much in a thicker spiritual battle, which I can say the spiritual battle has increased, like, even now, as I'm now, this is weeks later, it has gotten intense. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, it was just getting to me a little bit, and kind of just starting to realize the degrees of injustice that I have endured in this life. That's what was really getting to me about everything, because I was kind of like, dude, like, I was not making anything up my whole life. I really have been as isolated as I felt. I really was dealing with, you know, the jury of the sheeple in all areas being swayed. Oh yeah, this is like a pancake shop or whatever. Oh yeah, I was trying to say they're saying those are American pancakes. I was asking the Americans if you agree. Isn't it funny how I'd be asking every group as if I belong to no one, because I do feel like I don't belong to anyone. And that's kind of a part of it, by the way. I don't feel like I belong to my African ancestry, or like my people, because I'm rejected by them. I don't feel like I belong to being American. I didn't even grow up in the place, even though I'm a citizen. And I don't necessarily feel like I belong here, because here they treat me like the crazy American or the flipping African immigrant. So it's like, well, I'm just nobody's nothing, you know. So the Lord claimed me, basically. I'm laughing, but it's actually kind of sad, you know. But yeah, look how lovely it is around here. It's just nice. It's just nice, and you know, it's so underrated as well. Can I just say, as a tip for those of you folk out there, when dealing with the losing team and just dealing with life itself, the phrase touch grass that people say, and it's funny because I don't think the people who say it a lot of the times are the ones I think who actually need to be doing the touching of the grass. But going out, oh, and there she is again. Going out and actually exploring, being outside on your own is so underrated. Also, especially if you want to hear from God, because God always speaks to us when we're in a place of rest. And a lot of times the reason for that is because we finally silenced everything else enough to actually hear him. And that's the whole point. And this is what I'd be saying to y'all. So a lot of the time, the reason why I be hearing from the Lord and having these things, I'm just really present in the moment of the moments that I'm involved in, and I'm taking the opportunities to be out and about, and just, you know, taking it all in and listening, like, because I'm constantly like listening to see if anything that's happening to me, anything that I'm seeing, or not the horror filming again, anything that I'm seeing or I'm experiencing, if the Lord is trying to show me something in that experience, if that makes sense. And that's how I start to realize when he's talking and all the different ways that he's actually speaking, even if I don't think that he is, or I might not think that he is for whatever reason. So yeah, just that's another thing to just think about. So I'd come out, had sent some messages about this whole Jezebel thing to my my friend in Italy, which I was very nervous about doing because I didn't know how she'd react, and I honestly assumed it was going to go badly. And actually it didn't. It actually, well, it was a bit weird at first because it was a bit hard for me to articulate what I was trying to say. But in fact, after the fact, it actually made things a lot better because we just kind of, and I was like, wow, this is insane. And this is what I mean. Like, I'm really pushing myself. Like, it might seem easy to other people. These things are all me pushing myself to far out of my comfort zone, so far out of it. Like me just hopping on all these planes by myself, me giving like any form of relationship any chance, me saying the things I'm saying on the internet, me just trusting in the Lord, like hopping on a plane and believing, I have a strong feeling I should go. If it turns out that I'm wrong, then I'm going to have to deal with the consequences. And it is a lot. It does cost a lot. But like the Lord said to Joshua, be strong and courageous. You know what I mean? So I'm doing my best. Anyway. Oh, yes. And again, we have some artwork. I had said in one of my other clips before I decided to do a voiceover that I just think it's so sad that we live in a world where you can be this level of talented and yet your job doesn't get that much respect. It's not even considered a real job. But the jobs where we're slaving away and we're struggling to make ends meet, that's so-called the stable and smart decision. Anyway, I found this store and they were selling all these Lego things. If you guys couldn't tell, I love Lego. The only reason I'm not buying any is because I'm actually trying to get rid of stuff more than I'm trying to gain. But I will be back for all the Lego. Just look how cool it is. I love me some Lego. Got the Avatar one, they got the Technic, they had all sorts of things. I'm just obsessed. And also, I think Lego is a great learning tool. I haven't really gotten into that, but I feel like it's a great learning tool for kids. I mean, like babies use the big like Duplo one, to learn, like to help increase their motor skills and all of that. But I also think like as a science teacher, especially with the Technic section of Lego, which uses actual physics, I think it's incredible learning tool. And again, I just feel like, the education system and, the way we do things, it's almost like anything that, and the giant Lego people. I don't know what it is about the adult population or whatever happened before the days when I came along, but it's like anything that's supposed to be so-called responsible or good or whatever seems, oh yeah, the chessboard, that one nearly got me because I've been looking for a chessboard, but I need one in winning team colors. That's the thing. I need, which obviously that technically is as well, but anyways, besides the point. But yeah, why is it like learning has to be boring? I never really understood that. It's almost like there's this thing that if like learning has to be boring, your job has to be boring. It's like if something's enjoyable, then it can't be the right thing and it can't be the good thing. And I honestly feel that's heavily demonic because again, the Bible says Jesus came to give us life and life abundantly. So my main focus in my lessons is to make sure that I want the kids to not just do the work. Of course, they need to do the work. No one's taking that away from them. But my goal is for them to have fun doing it. You know what I mean? Because if they're having fun doing it, then they're going to want to do it. And again, I just don't get why, even some of the things that we try to do when we're trying to diversify lessons, it's one of those things I always agree with, like either my employers or like, the parents directly. I'm like, I'm going to use some potentially unconventional methods you can tell that I wasn't doing okay from the fact that I'm just walking with no clear sense of anything. But yeah, I'm going to use unconventional methods because why not? And that's just another one of my very many frustrations, because it's like time moves forward and technology moves forward and things move forward. It's the same thing with people complaining about kids on their phones. It's like, well, this is where we're at as a society. We all have a phone. In fact, according to my analytics, I think most of you are watching my videos on your phone. So actually, is that right? I can't remember. The point being, right? Look how nice this little park was. I came and sat here near the fountain. So the point is, technology has moved forward. So I think it's like when the parents complain, oh, but my kids are always on their phone. They don't focus on their homework. They want to do this. And I'm like, yeah, because they're also listening to you scrolling on your phone and you doing everything on your phone. You know what I mean? And then you're going to do the classic, oh, do as I say, not as I do, whatever the heck it is you're going to say. It's so ridiculous and hypocritical. And then you wonder why they don't respect you. Not to mention the fact that when some of us are trying to utilize those things, like there are so many good online resources like that kids would actually want to get involved with. Like I said, things like Lego, things like whatever. But I feel like the particular older generation is too stuck in their ways, like that some of these suggestions I make, and I'm like, just trust the process of why I'm suggesting doing this. It's like, but that doesn't look like school. That's not what we did in our time. All you guys seem to have achieved in your time is becoming the best possible slaves, the best possible obedient slaves that don't know how to think for themselves and just blindly follow the rules. That's all to end up at nothing and still not wake up at the end of the day. So, you know, I feel like with a lot of this stuff like that I'm showing you guys, and hopefully you can see, when I'm trying to say, like, this is why I get so annoyed with the parents, because they're like, oh, my kids, they're all doing this. I'm like, well, if they're on their phones all the time, why don't we as adults notice that this is just where we're at as a society, right? This is a cute little park and a willow tree. I used to be so afraid of willow trees. I still hate them. I think they're creepy. But yeah, the same can be said for the body of Christ, right? I'll never forget a message I heard during lockdown. And one of these men or women of God I was listening to was literally like, God had to allow the world to shut down and us to be forced into our houses in order for us, the believers, to actually get onto social media. Why were we just villainizing it rather than using it? This is how it always works. Technology moves forward, things move forward, and rather than villainizing things and trying to hold on to the past, I'll never forget what Kanye West said about how so much of the Christian music is very outdated. Like, we're so busy trying to like hold on to the past that it doesn't fit with the vibe or with the energy of where we're at now. And the fact is that things are supposed to move forward. Things are supposed to progress. So why did it have to take a whole pandemic for the church to get onto social media? That's another thing about, my favorite man of God, Marcus Rogers. He's been on YouTube talking about God for years, like long before COVID, when it wasn't cool. And that was one of the things that even the body of Christ was critiquing him for, is why is he all on online talking about God using social media, which is of course the devil. And it's so funny how y'all can notice the devil in everything other than where the devil actually is. It's actually insanity. So yeah, it's sad to me, like the things like the Lego of it all, and things that couldn't, like, it's just sometimes to me it seems like from my job, like the older generation just wants the younger generation to suffer. Like we're finding solutions. I'm finding solutions of ways to keep the kids engaged. They're actually progressing. They're actually moving forward. The data's in front of you, and I'm looking at these parents it's like they're glazed over their eyes, because in their heads, whatever I'm saying is almost irrelevant, because as far as they're concerned, the way that this is done is that you do it like this, and you suffer through hating education and whatnot. And it's just like, why does it have to be that way? And why are you so stuck in your ways, especially when the information is in front of you? Like, I'm showing you that it's working. The number of times that people have asked me, I don't know how it is what you do. Well, how do you do it? And I explain. I tell them to try it. They don't try. This is why right now, listen, this week, it's results day. And best believe, I'm not picking up the phone for no parents who didn't want to listen. Listen, it is not my job anymore. I need to store up my own energy to work with the people who actually want to listen. So it's a shame, because things like a lot of these things that are being villainized from the kids. Like, if they're going to be on their phones anyways, let's have them doing good things on there. Let's have them engaging. Let's be working together. And there are so many incredible resources. This is another reason why I'm like, you could literally homeschool your kids for free. You don't even have to pay for anything because of just how many people have invested in all these different resources, like not just online, like even in person. Like even where I live right now, they've got some thing happening every week, and there's all these different groups of charities and this and that investing in free opportunities for kids to come together and do this and that, but people are just too stuck in their ways. Meanwhile, you guys were having your kids were during lockdown having Zoom, doing lessons, stuck at home on their butts with their teacher not even showing themselves on the webcam. Meanwhile, some of us were doing chemistry experiments with the homeschoolers, making our own, what do you call it? That was my favorite practical that we did when we all made our own hand sanitizers. We got the aloe vera, we extracted it, we mixed the natural oils together to get the scent that we need. We tested out our recipe. And this is literally like 4 to like 12-year-olds, mind you. They're using test tubes, they're using conical flasks, they've got a research and development department, we've got a business department, they split into groups, we've got this, then we went into distribution, and they had to actually go out there and try and sell, in the community, and we went out to go and sell the stuff, and they're learning so many different things, and they're engaged, and they're having fun. Like, meanwhile, at that time, where was everybody else? Their kids at home just being told information through a screen, and then all just because teachers think they ticked off a couple of checkbox things, and they just rattled through barking the learning objectives that the kids were like, oh, they're all caught up. I can assure you guys, the kids are not all caught up from COVID, because that's not how teaching works. And you can even see, like, with everything that the Lord is doing with me, what he does in order to teach me. So anyway, I'm going to leave that point there for now. So at this point, my friend had gone to get her hair done, and she was like, I could go with her, I could go here. I was still looking for a gift. She was like, you may as well go in here, in this place I believe called the Forum. It's again huge, and things are about to take a very quick turn, because once I got in here, I walked around for a bit. I walked up a couple of floors, and I just wasn't in the mood. Like, I'm not a shopping kind of person. So I'd already done a lot of like going out to places. I was feeling overwhelmed. And if you can only imagine, in the midst of that, I then pop into, I don't know what store I popped into, and this young 25-year-old Zimbabwean guy, it's like, I can't remember exactly I was coming down the escalator, and he said something like, excuse me. And I was like, looking at him, and then he was like, where are you from? Are you Nigerian? And I was like, are you actually kidding me? You people are supposed to be the one people who can tell where I'm from. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves, is when people try to guess where I'm from Africa, and they just immediately guess Nigeria and Ghana, like they're the only two African places Like, that's actually one of my pet peeves. I'd honestly rather you would just say that you don't know. But anyway, so yeah, he stopped me and was like, he wanted to get himself a cap, whatever. And then I was like, YOLO. And then we ended up going to do this together. Didn't last very long, because I was like to him, I was like, I think these are quite expensive. And like, he was telling me that he's a student. I was like, I don't think it's a waste of your money. And then he was like, hey, do you want me to show you the old town? And that's what you're going to see next. Next thing you know, we are here, right? Which was actually basically across like all the main roads from where that place was. And this was incredible. And again, he just seemed to have such a wealth of knowledge about all of this area that I'm showing you here, called the Old Town, I guess. And again, just so beautiful, and just so much history, and so many interesting buildings. But the interesting thing about talking to this guy was, again, for me, one of my most difficult things, obviously, is, the experience I've experienced with the people from where I come from. And ironically speaking, so for me to bump into him, my God, my wall's already up 1 billion, right? So I'm thinking this is going to end badly, but he was really sweet, and it was really nice, and we actually hit it off. really well. So you're going to see here all the things that we saw in this Old Town area. I mean, it's just so freaking cool. Like I said, I never knew what to expect from this country, but this is essentially what I saw. And like it was just the gift that kept on giving. I was like, I need to like come and visit every single place and every single where here, you know, because this is just a one stop away or two stops from where my friend lives, but it was still very much in Gdansk. So it was just, oh, it was amazing. But yeah, it was kind of a bit insane for me to have thrown myself in the deep end, in all aspects of like, you know, again, talking to people from where I come from, and like even for him, ironically, again, this is just all insane. He was struggling, you know, with picking up the Polish language and also English, ironically, because he moved straight from Zimbabwe, I guess, to Poland to study. So he's a student, obviously, like I said. And obviously his family's not here. His family's, you know, back home. He's just come to study and whatever, which again, that was interesting. Also, when I saw this pirate ship, it made me think of One Piece. Well, it's not, I don't know if it's a pirate ship, but it feels like a pirate ship. You'll see more of that in a second. But look how lovely it is. Look how lovely. And I would have never known. And there I was feeling overwhelmed. Like this is why I truly believe that the Lord, you know, he guides my steps, because yeah, honestly, it was nice to just stroll. My friend, basically, what had happened is the agreement was I was going to continue looking for this gift. She was going to get her hair done, and whoever finished first was going to message the other one first, essentially. So that was why, because I realized I was just not in the headspace to look for this gift at all, because I was just overwhelmed. There's just so many options. I was feeling kind of exhausted. So yeah, when this gentleman pops up and starts talking to me, I was like, you know, and we're having whatever conversations. It was really nice. And honestly, I feel like it was probably nice for him to see, to speak with somebody, you know, bearing in mind that, you know, he is living in another country, and he was talking to me. I mean, he asked me for some pretty big advice. It was kind of insane because eventually he had said to me that he basically opened up to tell me that he has this pretty huge opportunity and he has not told a single soul about it. He hadn't told his family because of how he felt they would react, and he hadn't told his friends because he felt like they would be jealous, and he felt like whoever he would ask, those people would make a decision more so based on what they like. Basically the classic, you know, thing that I say to you, like, people sometimes they guide you because they might give you advice because they don't want to see you shine, so they'll give you advice for that, or maybe they're too stuck in their ways. So I gave him the God's honest truth, you know. I was like, hey, are you a believer? And I just gave him the God's honest truth, what I thought he should do. And he was so appreciative, and like, bless his heart, he was like, wow, I'm really grateful that I had met you because you seem so wise and like you have really experienced so many things. And I was just like, that's so, so cute. Meanwhile, I'm grateful. Look at this. I get to see all of this incredible area of Poland and just learn lots of extra history. So that was that. That's how all of that happened. So that pretty much wraps up everything that I have to show you. There's so much more footage, I'm not going to lie, guys, but I've just decided I feel like it's enough now. I've shown you guys enough. A lot of it is just, you know, out and about things and things you're used to seeing. I do have one more final vlog of just me at the airport and what goes down, and just a whole bunch of things because I was having just so many revelations and stuff like that. And I was just reflecting on the trip, and I don't know, I just left feeling a lot more clear about a lot of things than I had arrived. And again, it was just a lot to take in because I hadn't had a plan. So yeah, other than that, you guys, stay tuned for that. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this. I know so much went down in this one vlog. But yeah, we're still just at Old Town and now we're just walking out. So yeah, oh my gosh, guys. I'm so glad I finally edited these, and these are definitely better than the ones I had. Anyways, if life's a game, it's played to win. God bless you all. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.